I stood in the doorway, her bag already slung over her shoulder. "Claire, are you really doing this?" I asked. She didn't even flinch. "You'll never find better than me." The words sliced deeper than I expected. I swallowed hard. "That's what you want to leave me with?" "A curse," she smirked. "A truth." I stepped closer, my voice rising. 3 years, and this is how you walk out. 3 years of me putting up with you. She turned, her heels clicking against the floor. "Don't call me. Don't. Follow me. I'm done." My chest burned, but I forced the words out. "You'll regret this." She spun around, her eyes sharp. "No, you will." Then the door slammed. I stood in the silence, fists clenched, breath uneven. The echo of her last words circled my head like a storm I couldn't escape. "Are you all right?" The voice startled me. I turned and found Eliza leaning against the hallway wall. Her eyes locked on me. "Elisa." My voice cracked. "What are you doing here?" She tilted her head slightly. "I came to pick up something she borrowed." I didn't expect to walk into that battlefield. I rubbed my face with both hands, perfect timing. She stepped closer, slow and deliberate. She didn't hold back. "That's Claire," I muttered. Sharp words, quick exit. Her gaze softened, but her tone carried weight. "You let her talk to you like that?" I shot her a look. "You think I wanted this?" "No," she said. "But I think you let her believe she had that power." The air thickened between us. Her presence felt heavier than the silence Claire had left behind. "You shouldn't even be here," I said quietly. "Why not?" she asked. "I'm not her. Don't vanish the second things get messy." I exhaled, shaking my head. "You're her sister." She smiled faintly. "And you're the man she just threw away like trash. So tell me why I shouldn't stand here." I searched for words, but none came. Her eyes lingered on me, too steady, too knowing. "You're bleeding on the inside," she said. "I can see it. I don't need your pity." "Good," she replied, "'cause I'm not offering pity." Her voice wrapped around me, warm but edged with something dangerous. "Eliza," I warned, "this is a bad idea." "What is?" she asked. "Talking to you. Standing here like this, looking at me like that." Her lips curved. "Like what?" "Like you're waiting for me to fall apart." She stepped closer, closing the distance until I could feel her breath. "Maybe I'm waiting for you to realize she was wrong." My chest tightened. "Don't." She leaned in, her voice dropping. "Don't what?" "Don't play this game." Her eyes flickered with amusement. "Who said I'm playing?" Turned away, running a hand through my hair. She just left. I can still feel the door slam. "Good," Elisa said. "Maybe that sound will remind you of who she really is." I faced her again, my voice low. "You shouldn't be here." "Then tell me to leave," she challenged. The words stuck in my throat. She tilted her head, eyes narrowing. "You can't say it, can you?" I clenched my jaw. "This isn't fair." "Nothing about her was fair," she shot back. "Gave her everything. She gave you scraps. She wants you to believe you'll never do better. It's cruel." Her voice trembled slightly on the last word, and for the first time, I saw the depth in her anger. "Eliza," I whispered.
Ow.
"You sound like you've been waiting to say that." "Maybe I have," she admitted. "Maybe I've been biting my tongue for years." Her honesty hit me like a punch. I stepped back, needing space, but she followed, her eyes never leaving mine. "You deserve someone who sees you," she said firmly, "not someone who throws you away." I tried to steady my voice. "And you think you see me?" Her gaze softened. "I know I do." My throat tightened. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in. "Eliza, this isn't right," I said. "You're her sister." Her lips parted slightly, her voice almost a whisper. "And she doesn't deserve you." We stood locked in silence, the air buzzing between us. I could feel the line we were about to cross, thin and dangerous. She leaned in closer, her face inches from mine. My pulse pounded in my ears. "She was wrong," she whispered, her lips brushing the air near my ear. Asterisk, I tried to keep my distance. But there she was again. "Eliza," I muttered as I pulled out a chair. At the dinner table, you always managed to sit next to me. She lowered herself gracefully beside me, her perfume drifting through the air. Coincidence? Or maybe fate? Take your pick. I forced a laugh, more like bad luck. Her lips curved slightly. It was bad luck. You'd look more miserable. Before I could reply, Claire swept into the room with her usual flair, laughing too loudly at something one of her friends said. She glanced at me once, smirked, then carried on as if I were nothing. More than a stranger? I tightened my grip around my glass. Eliza leaned closer. You still think about her, don't you? I turned sharply. Why ask questions you already know the answer to? Because I want to hear you say it, she replied, her eyes fixed on me. She left me, I said flatly. What else is there to say? You're still holding on? She pressed. I set my glass down hard on the table. And you're still pushing. Her gaze didn't waver. Someone has to. She doesn't deserve the space she still takes in your head. Claire's laughter rang out from the far side of the table. I couldn't stop my eyes from flicking. Toward her, she leaned against a man I didn't recognize, her hand brushing his arm casually, deliberately. Eliza followed my gaze. See, she's already rewritten the story. You were a chapter, not the book. That's enough, I said, sharply. Not enough. Eliza shot back, lowering her voice. You think she notices how your hand shakes when you hold a glass? You think she sees the way your jaw locks when she walks into a room? She doesn't notice anything unless it feeds her ego. I turned toward her, my voice low. Why do you care so much? Her lips parted, but before she could answer, Claire's voice cut in. You two seem very cozy over there. Liza leaned back in her chair and smiled sweetly. Just catching up? Claire eyed me for a moment, then smirked. Good, I wouldn't want him sulking alone. She turned away again, dismissing me like I was nothing. Heat burned in my chest. Lisa whispered. She knows she still gets under. Your skin, don't let her. I clenched my teeth. It's easier said than done. That's why I'm here, she said. The rest of the dinner passed in fragments of forced conversation. Claire flaunted her independence, laughing louder, touching the stranger's arm more often. Liza stayed close, her presence like a steady current pulling me somewhere I wasn't ready to go. When the evening ended, I grabbed my coat and headed for the door. I needed air, distance, escape. Leaving already? Liza's voice followed me into the hallway. Yes. She stepped up beside me, her eyes sharp but playful. Running away, you mean? Call it survival? She moved past me, brushing against my arm as she reached for her bag. The contact was brief, but it sent a jolt through me I couldn't ignore. I froze, staring at her. She held my gaze, her hand still resting lightly against mine. That felt real, didn't it? I pulled back, my voice strained. You shouldn't. What? She asked. Remind you that you're alive? Her words hung in the air like smoke. I tried to steady my breathing. You're Claire's sister. This isn't right. Right and wrong are just words, she replied softly. What matters is what you feel. I shook my head, stepping toward the door. This is dangerous. So is letting her win, Eliza said quickly. She left you thinking you'd never find better. Don't let that lie be the last word. I pulled the door open, the cold night air rushing in. Her voice stopped me. Low, deliberate, impossible to ignore. Don't let her ruin you. She doesn't deserve to be the only one. Whoever had you. The words burrowed into me as I stepped out into the dark, the weight of her gaze following me long after the door closed behind me. The knock at my door pulled me from the couch. I opened it to find Eliza holding a bottle of wine. Her smile sharp but playful. Thought you might need company, she said. I stepped aside reluctantly. And what makes you think that? She walked in without waiting for permission, because I would. Matter everything. Silence feels heavier than it should. I shut the door, staring at the bottle in her hand. You came all the way here with wine as an excuse? She set it on the table. Excuse or reason, does it matter? Yes. Then call it a reason, she replied, dropping into the sofa. I sat across from her, arms folded. This isn't a good idea. She tilted her head. Right. Neither was. Claire, but you tried for 3 years. My jaw tightened. That's a low blow. She poured the wine into 2 glasses and handed me one. Maybe, but not untrue. I hesitated, then took it. So what are you doing here, really? She sipped, eyes locked on mine. I wanted to see you. I leaned back, trying to steady myself. That's dangerous. Everything worth wanting is, she answered softly. I shook my head. You're her sister. This is playing with fire. Leaned forward, placing her glass down. Fire keeps you alive. Don't confuse it with destruction. Her words slid under my skin. I tried to shift the conversation. What would Claire say if she knew you were here? Her lips curved slightly. She'd be furious. That's half the fun. I set my glass down firmly.
You're enjoying this?
She inched closer along the sofa, her dress brushing against my arm. I'm enjoying you. I froze, staring at her. Don't say that. Why not? She whispered. Because it feels good to hear. Her nearness filled my lungs. I forced myself to stand, moving toward the kitchen. I can't do this. You already are, she called after me. I turned back, frustration lacing my voice. You think this is a game? She rose and followed, her tone steady. No, I think this is the first time you've been honest with yourself. I met her. Gaze about what? That you wanted more than scraps. That you wanted someone who saw you. My chest tightened. And you think you're that someone? I know I am, she said firmly. I stared at her, searching for cracks in her conviction. She didn't flinch. Eliza, I said, lowering my voice. You can't just walk into my life like this. She stepped closer, eyes bright. I already have. I felt the space between us dissolve. This will destroy everything, or rebuild it, she countered. Her hand brushed my arm, sending heat racing through me. I caught her wrist, holding it in place. Stop. She leaned in, her breath warm against my skin. You don't want me to. I held her gaze, my grip loosening. You don't know what you're asking, her voice dropped. Yes, I do. Silence pressed in, broken only by the hum of the refrigerator. I finally released her wrist, stepping back. Why me? She followed, refusing distance. Because you were never meant for her. Because every time I watched her cut you down, I wanted to be the one who built you up. My heart pounded. You're crossing a line. So cross it with me, she said. Her words hit harder than they should have. I tried to pull away again, but she reached out, touching my chest lightly. With her fingertips, I caught her hand, my voice shaking. Don't do this. She didn't move. Tell me you don't feel it. I hesitated. My silence was an answer. Her eyes searched mine, unrelenting. So, was she really that unforgettable? The question stung. That's not fair. Was she, Elisa said. I'm asking you to be honest. I swallowed hard. She was unforgettable for the wrong reasons. Her lips curved, almost triumphant. Then let me give you new ones. Her hand lingered against my chest, her touch soft but charged. I should have pulled away, but I didn't. Eliza, I whispered. She leaned closer, her voice barely above. A breath. Maybe she was right. Maybe you haven't found better yet. Asterisk, the family room buzzed with chatter, but I could feel her eyes on me. I glanced across the table. Eliza's gaze held mine a moment too long before she smiled, quick and private, like it belonged only to us. I shifted uncomfortably. Claire noticed. Why are you so quiet? She asked from the other end. I'm just listening, I replied. Claire smirked. That's unusual, Eliza cut in. Maybe he finally realized listening is more interesting than talking. Claire shot her a sharp look. Funny. Eliza didn't flinch. She raised her glass, still watching me as she drank. My pulse quickened. I tried to distract myself with conversation, but every time I glanced up, she was already staring. Each glance was longer than the last. Each smile carried weight no one else could read. Dinner dragged on. Laughter rose around the table, but none of it reached me. The tension sat heavy, pressing down with every glance. Every unspoken thought. When it ended, people scattered into smaller groups. Claire busied herself with her phone, ignoring me entirely. I slipped into the kitchen, searching for quiet. The sound of footsteps followed. Liza entered, her heels clicking softly against the floor. "You left early," she said. I needed space from her. From this I answered, motioning between us. She moved closer, her voice lowering. "You're not supposed to look at me like that." My throat tightened. "Like what?" "Like you want me?" she teased. I stepped back against the counter, trying to steady my voice. Her hand slid onto the counter beside mine. "So are you." I stared at her. "This isn't a game." Her eyes locked on mine. "Then stop making it feel like one." I shook my head. "You're her sister, and you're her mistake," she shot back. "Don't confuse the two." Her words hit harder than I wanted to admit. Shh. I tried to hold my ground. If she saw us right now, she'd finally understand what she threw away. Eliza interrupted. I exhaled sharply. "You can't keep saying things like that." "Why not?" she whispered, leaning closer. "Because part of you believes it?" Her nearness pulled at me like gravity. My pulse hammered in my ears. "Eliza," I said quietly, "you're crossing a line." Her lips curved. "And you're not stopping me." I caught her wrist gently, holding it against the counter. "If Claire walked in, then she'd see you being wanted for once," Eliza whispered. My grip loosened. "This will end badly, or beautifully," she countered. The silence between us stretched thin, vibrating with everything neither of us said. Her fingers brushed against my arm. The touch burned hotter than it should have. "Eliza," I warned again, softer this time. Her eyes searched mine. "Tell me you don't feel it." I opened my mouth, but before I could speak, the sound of footsteps echoed down the hall. Claire's voice called out, sharp and close. "Where are you?" Liza's hand lingered against me. I froze. Claire stepped into the doorway, her eyes scanning the kitchen. They landed on us. Her gaze dropped to Eliza's hand against my arm, her expression hardened, suspicion flashing across her face like lightning. The clock glowed past midnight, but I couldn't sleep. My head spun with what had happened in the kitchen, the way Claire's eyes had burned into me. A knock rattled the door. I sat up. "Who is it?" Her voice answered quietly. Mia hesitated, then unlocked it. Liza stood in the hallway, hair loose, eyes unguarded. "You shouldn't be here," I whispered. She slipped inside anyway. "I just wanted to check on you. I'm fine. You don't look fine." I closed the door, my voice low. Claire could walk in. "She's asleep. Relax." "I can't relax when you keep doing this." "Doing what?" she asked, stepping closer. "You know exactly what I said." Her eyes softened. "If I wanted to hurt you, I would have already." "That's not why I'm here." "Then why?" She sat on the edge of the sofa, patting the spot beside her. I stayed standing. "Sit down," she said, "unless you're scared of me." I exhaled, then sank onto the cushion. Our knees touched, her voice dropped. "I've always hated the way she treated you." I stiffened. Why not?" "It's true. She thought you'd never leave, that you'd stay no matter how cold she got. She took you for granted every single day." I swallowed hard. "You don't know everything." "Know enough," she whispered. "I watched her laugh at you when you tried. I watched her shut you out when you needed her. And I hated her for it." Her words cut sharper than I expected. "That's not your fight." Her knee pressed into mine. It became mine. "You don't see it, do you? The way I looked at you. All those years, she never noticed, but I did." I turned to her slowly. "What are you saying?" Her breath trembled. I wanted what she never deserved. My chest tightened. "Liza," her voice cracked. "I'm tired of pretending. I don't feel this. I'm tired of watching her ruin everything while you act like you're blind." I shook my head. "You can't say that to me." "Why not? You feel it too?" Her eyes locked on mine, daring me to deny it. I opened my mouth, but nothing came. My silence gave her the answer she wanted. She leaned in, her shoulder brushing mine. "You've been holding back for so long. Don't you want to stop pretending?" My pulse hammered. "If Claire finds out." "She already suspects," Eliza interrupted. "You saw it tonight." The way she looked at us, she knows something is shifting. "That's exactly why this has to stop."
Ow.
Her voice softened. Or maybe that's why it can't. The room felt smaller, darker, heavier with every word. "Eliza," I whispered, "this is wrong. Then tell me to leave." Stared at her, my throat dry. My hand twitched, wanting to push her away, wanting to pull her closer. "Say it," she murmured. I stayed silent. She smiled faintly, though her eyes shimmered. "You can't, can you?" I whispered. "You're not making this easy." Her breath brushed my cheek. "It was never supposed to be easy." I finally admitted, "I can't stop thinking about you." Her eyes closed briefly as if the words hit deep. "Then don't." "I should," I said. "But you won't," she replied. I turned toward her fully, our knees pressed tight now. The air thickened, heavy with every confession we had buried. "For years, Eliza," I said quietly. "What do you really want?" Her answer came fast, raw. "You." The word cracked the silence open. I inhaled sharply. "You don't mean that." She grabbed my hand before I could pull away. "I've meant it for longer than you think." My fingers trembled in hers. "You're her sister. And you're the man she never valued," she said. "Do you really want to keep being loyal to someone who never cared when I'm right here?" Her grip tightened. My walls weakened. I whispered, "This will destroy everything." Her voice steadied. "Maybe it will finally build something real." The weight of her words sank into me. My chest ached with guilt, but my body leaned closer. Without permission, her forehead touched mine. The world fell quiet. Her whisper lingered between us. "Don't pull away." I didn't. The moment stretched, our breaths mingling, the heat undeniable. My lips hovered against hers, ready to close the distance. Then a buzz shattered it. We both froze. The phone on the table lit up. Claire's name flashed across the screen. Eliza's hand slipped from mine, her chest rising sharply. I stared at the glow, my pulse racing faster than ever. The silence between us was deafening. The car ride to the cabin was quiet. But my chest wasn't. I watched trees blur past the window, wondering why I'd agreed to this weekend. Claire laughed, from the passenger seat, leaning into her new boyfriend, Simon. She made sure I saw the way her hand rested on his thigh. Eliza sat beside me in the back, close enough that her shoulder brushed mine every time the car turned. Claire's voice cut through the silence. "You're awfully quiet back there. What's wrong? Lost for words?" I forced a smile, just tired. Simon chuckled. "I'll wake up once we open the wine." Claire turned in her seat, her eyes locking on mine. "Maybe that's what he needs, a drink to loosen up." I nodded faintly, but Eliza leaned closer and whispered so only I could hear. "She's doing it on purpose." My jaw tightened. "I know." Her hand rested briefly on my knee. "Don't let her win." Bye. The time we reached the cabin, the air was colder than the weather. Claire pulled Simon toward the fire, guiding him like she wanted to put on a show. Eliza and I unpacked in silence. At dinner, the table was small, and we were forced close together. Claire poured Simon another glass of wine and let her head fall onto his shoulder. She looked at me as she laughed. "You never made me laugh like this," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. I clenched my fork. "Glad you're happy." Simon raised his glass. "She's a lot to handle, but worth it." Claire kissed him, lingering, her eyes still fixed on me. Eliza's hand slid under the table, brushing against mine. I froze, but she didn't let go. Her whisper was soft, dangerous. "You deserve more than her games." My chest tightened. I squeezed her hand once before pulling away, my pulse racing. Claire caught the movement. Her eyes narrowed for a second before she plastered on another smile. After dinner, Claire insisted on showing Simon the view from the deck. Eliza lingered with me by the table. Her voice was low. "She's trying to crush you." "But you're not helping?" I muttered. Her gaze didn't waver. I'm not here to help her. I'm here for you." I ran a hand through my hair. "You don't know what you're doing." She stepped closer. "I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm giving you what she never gave." Her words burned through me. Before I could answer, the door swung open and Claire walked back in, Simon trailing behind her. Claire's smile was sharp. Eliza, can you give us a minute? I need to talk to him. Eliza's eyes darted to mine, then back to her sister. Why? Because I asked, Claire said coldly. Eliza hesitated, then brushed past her, her arm grazing mine in silent defiance. The room fell silent once she was gone. Claire folded her arms. Don't think I don't notice the way she looks at you. I held her stare. What are you talking about? Her voice was like ice. Stay away from her. My chest rose, heavy and unsteady. Or what? Her lips curved into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. You'll find out. The fire crackled in the cabin, but the heat I felt had nothing to do with it. Claire's warning repeated in my head, her voice sharp and unyielding. Stay away from her. I sat on the couch, staring at the flames, when the sound of soft footsteps made me turn. Lisa entered, her arms folded tight. What did she say to you? She asked. Nothing important, I muttered. Her eyes narrowed. She told you to stay away from me, didn't she? I stayed silent. She walked closer, her voice low and steady. She doesn't own you. She doesn't get to decide who you care about. She's your sister, I said quietly. Eliza stopped. In front of me? And she's been cruel to you since the day she met you. Do you really think that changes because she shares my blood? I looked down at my hands. You don't understand what this will cost. Her tone sharpened. What has she ever given you that's worth protecting? Humiliation? Lies? You're bleeding yourself dry for a woman who parades her new boyfriend around just to break you? I swallowed hard. What are you offering instead? Her answer was immediate. Honesty. Respect. Someone who sees you. The words hit harder than I wanted them to. I stood up, needing space, but she stepped in my way. Eliza, I whispered. If I let this happen, there's no going back. Her eyes locked on mine, then don't look back. I turned toward the window, trying to catch my breath. The reflection in the glass showed her standing behind me, closer than she should be. She warned me about you, I said. She saw it in the way you look at me. Of course she did, Eliza said. She always knew she couldn't keep you, so she made sure no one else could have you either. My fists clenched. You think this is simple, but it isn't. If I choose you, I lose everything. You lose her, Eliza corrected. And what exactly are you afraid of losing? A woman who toys with you like you're nothing, a relationship she already destroyed. I turned, my voice rising. And what about you? She's your sister. You're asking me to betray her with you standing at the center of it. Eliza stepped closer, her breath brushing my skin. I'm asking you to stop betraying yourself. Her words shook me. The silence between us grew heavier than the night outside. Eliza, I said, barely able to speak. You don't know what you're asking. I know exactly what I'm asking, she replied. I want you. Not when it's convenient, not when it's safe. Now. I felt my resolve slipping. My chest ached from holding it in, from pretending I didn't feel the pull every time she touched me. You don't mean that, I said. Her jaw tightened. Then tell me to stop. Tell me you don't feel it too. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Her hand lifted, almost touching my face before she stopped herself. See, you can't. Step back, but it was like moving against gravity. If we cross this line, we'll burn everything down. Then let it burn, she whispered. My heart pounded. I wanted to push her away, but the truth hung too close between us. Eliza, I said again, softer this time. If Claire finds out, she already knows. Eliza cut in. She sees it every time I look at you. That's why she told. You two stay away. She's terrified you'll see me the way I see you. The fire popped behind us, but her words were louder. I lowered my voice. And how do you see me? Her answer came like a blade. As the only man who ever deserved me. I closed my eyes, fighting against the flood inside me. You're asking me to betray her? To betray myself? No, she said firmly. Asking you to stop letting her betray you? I won't watch her ruin you anymore. Her conviction rattled me. The room felt too small, the air too thin. Eliza, I said, my voice breaking, this can't end well. She moved even closer, her face inches from mine. Then let it end badly. At least it will be real. I felt the heat of her body, the intensity of her stare. My restraint cracked under the weight of it. You don't understand the mess this will make, I whispered. Her eyes burned into me. I'd rather live in the mess than watch you die in silence. I took a shaky breath. And if I can't give you what you want? Her lips curved, but there was no smile. Then let her. Hate us. I'd rather have your hate than never have you at all. The words hung in the air like fire, and I knew there was no turning back. Asterisk, the pounding at my door shook the walls. I already knew it was Claire. I opened it, and there she was, eyes red, jaw trembling with rage. Let me in, she demanded. I stepped aside, though I knew the storm was already inside with her. She stormed across the living room, spinning to face me. You think I wouldn't find out? She snapped. Eliza told you, I said quietly. Her chest rose and fell, voice shaking with fury. No, she didn't need to. I saw it. The way she looks at you, the way you let her? Tell me it isn't true. I met her glare. It is. Her breath caught, and for a second she looked almost wounded. Then the fire returned. You were mine first. How could you do this to me? I clenched my fists. Let go of me long before Eliza ever stepped close. You made sure I knew I was never enough. That doesn't give you the right to crawl into my sister's arms, she spat. It wasn't crawling, I said, my voice firm. It was standing for the first time. She shook her head, eyes wet with tears. You think this is strength? It's betrayal. You've ruined everything. Ruined it, I shot back. Every time you flaunted someone else in my face, every time you made me feel small, her hand pressed to her forehead as if steadying herself. So you chose her to get back at me. That's what this is? No, I said. I chose her. Because she chose me without hesitation. Claire's voice broke into a scream. She is my sister. Do you understand how sick that is? The sound of footsteps on the stairs cut through the tension. Eliza entered the room, calm but defiant. Don't. Put this on him, Eliza said. I'm the one who refused to stay quiet. Claire's eyes widened, pure betrayal flashing across her face. How could you, after everything I've done for you, what have you done for me? Eliza snapped. Belittled me. Used. Me, acted like I was a shadow so you could shine. For once in my life, I took something back. Claire turned to me again, voice cracking. You let her destroy us. There was nothing left to destroy, I replied. Her hands trembled as she pointed at me. You were mine, you swore it. Ice. I stepped forward, eyes locked on hers. And you swore I'd never find better. But you were wrong. Her lips parted, shock twisting into disbelief. You're throwing me away for her? You threw yourself away the moment you treated me like I didn't matter, I said. Claire's tears spilled over, anger mixing with grief. I loved you in my way. I shook my head. Your way was cruel, her way is honest. Eliza moved beside me, not hiding, not apologizing. Her voice was steady. I won't let you make him feel worthless anymore. Claire let out a bitter laugh. Do you really think he'll stay with you? Do you think you're enough for him? Eliza didn't flinch, gasped. Because I already am. The silence after her words felt like broken glass scattered across the floor. Claire's breath came in sharp bursts. She turned her fury back on me. I was the one who found you. I was the one who made you who you are. I lifted my chin. No, you tried to break me. She reminded me I could stand again. She stared at me as if searching for the man she once controlled. For the first time, I didn't look away. You'll regret this, she said, her voice barely holding. Maybe, I answered, but at least it will be my choice. Her mouth trembled. You'll never erase me. I stepped closer. I don't want to erase you. I want to remember exactly what you taught me, because now I can finally give it back. Her eyes narrowed. What do you mean? I let the words fall sharp. You'll never find better. The silence crushed her. The same poison she once fed me now rested on her tongue. She staggered back, her anger collapsing into despair. You're cruel, she whispered. No, I said. I'm free. Claire looked at Eliza one last time, betrayal carved into her face. Then you deserve each other. She turned for the door, her shoulders shaking, and I felt the truth settle heavy in my chest. For the first time, she was right. I sat at the edge of my bed, phone buzzing with messages I no longer opened. I heard Eliza's footsteps before she spoke. She called me again, she said softly. What did she say this time? I asked. She said I'm dead to her. I'm not her sister anymore. She told me I'd regret choosing you. I looked up at her. Do you? Her eyes held steady. No, do you? Not for a second, I said. She came closer. Then let her hate us. We'll survive it. I nodded, though the weight of Claire's rage pressed heavy. She's telling everyone, friends, family. My phone hasn't stopped, they all think. I betrayed her. Eliza sat beside me. You didn't betray her. You chose honesty. That scares her. I let out a sharp breath. It feels like the world is burning because of us. Then let it burn, she whispered. We'll build something in the ashes. I turned to face her. You're serious about this, aren't you? Not just fighting her, fighting for me. Her voice broke slightly, though her resolve didn't. I've never been more serious. I don't want to be your secret. I want to be your future. I reached for her hand. You're already my future. She squeezed tighter. Then prove it. Don't hide when they look at us. Don't flinch when they whisper. Don't. I said, but you have to promise the same. No second guessing. No second guessing, she replied. The doorbell rang. I stiffened. That'll be another friend wanting answers. Let it go, she said. I stood anyway, walked to the door, and cracked it open. A neighbor stood there, expression laced with judgment. Claire says you're with her sister, she said coldly. I am, I answered. Her eyes widened. So it's true. It's true, I repeated, shutting the door before she could speak again. Eliza smirked from the couch. You didn't even blink. I meant what I said. I told her, then come sit with me, she said, patting the cushion beside her. I sat, silence stretching between us. Then she broke it. When did you know it was me? It's not just attraction, but something deeper. The night you told Claire you wouldn't let her ruin me anymore, I said. That's when I saw you, not just as her sister, but as the woman. I couldn't live without. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. And you're sure this isn't revenge? If it was revenge, I'd feel hollow, I said. But with you, I feel alive. She leaned closer. Then let's stop surviving and start living. I felt the air shift, charged with unspoken promises. What does living look like to you? She didn't hesitate. Waking up beside you, sharing meals, fights, laughter, building a life that isn't borrowed or stolen. If the world keeps spitting on us, I asked. She lifted her chin, and we spit back, together. Her certainty made me laugh, though my chest ached with how much I needed her. Sound fearless? I'm terrified, she admitted. But loving you scares me less than losing you. The honesty in her voice cut through every wall I had left. You've already saved me, I said. Her eyes shimmered. Then let me. Keep saving you. I pulled her close, my forehead resting against hers. You already are. The night bled into morning with conversations that refused to end. We spoke about childhood dreams, secrets never told, futures we thought we'd never have. At one point, I asked, do you think Claire will ever forgive us? Eliza shook her head. Forgiveness was never her gift. Control was. We broke it. She'll never see us as love, I said quietly. She doesn't have to, Eliza replied. We see it. That's enough. Her words stayed with me like a fire that refused to die. Days later, we found ourselves at a small restaurant tucked away from familiar faces. The world outside still buzzed with gossip, but inside it felt like just us. She raised her glass, eyes fixed on mine. To surviving the fire, she said. I lifted mine. She building from the ashes. She held her glass higher. To us. Clinked against hers, but before I could speak, she added husband and wife. The words hit me harder than I expected. Are you asking? I'm promising, she said softly. That's where this is going. That's where I want it to go. I swallowed hard. Eliza, do you know what you're saying? Yes, she said, unwavering. I'm saying I'd rather burn every bridge than lose you. Emotions surged through me, fierce and undeniable. Then to us, I said, raising my glass higher, husband and wife. The toast sealed itself into the air between us, heavier than any vow, brighter than any flame. And for the first time, I didn't feel like we were running from Claire's shadow. We were running toward our own light. Asterisk, the sound of rain tapped against the windows while I poured 2 glasses of wine. Eliza came into the kitchen, barefoot, her hair loose the way she knew I loved. She leaned against the counter. "You look like a man remembering something." I handed her a glass. "I am." She studied me for a moment. Her again. "Oh, she never leaves completely," I admitted. Claire's voice, her words, telling me I'd never find better. Eliza sipped her wine. "And do you still believe her?" I shook my head. "Not when you're standing here," she smiled, though I caught the shadow in her eyes. "It still hurts me sometimes, knowing what she thinks of us." "I know," I said, "but look at what we built. Look at what she said would never happen." Eliza walked closer, placing her glass on the counter. "We survived her lies, her anger, her silence. We made it through. And we didn't just survive," I said, lowering my voice. "We created something real." She touched my chest. Tell me you don't regret any of it." "Regret?" I held her gaze. "The only regret I have is not finding you sooner." Lips parted, her eyes wet with emotion. "You always know how to disarm me." "I'm not trying to disarm you," I said. "I'm telling you the truth." She pressed her forehead to mine. "Then tell me again." I wrapped my arms around her. "I chose you. And I'd choose you every day for the rest of my life." Her voice softened. "You already do." We stood there, quiet, the storm outside, echoing the storm we had survived. Then she whispered, "Do you ever wonder what she would say if she saw us now?" I pulled back slightly. "She'd hate it. She'd spit venom. She'd tell us we betrayed her." "And what would you say back?" Lisa asked. I lifted her chin. "I'd tell her the truth. That betrayal gave me everything I ever wanted." Smile trembled. "That sounds cruel." "Sometimes the truth is cruel," I said, "but it's still the truth." She drew a deep breath. "Promise me something, anything. Promise me you'll never let her shadow take more space in our lives than she deserves." I brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. "She doesn't deserve space at all. She's the past, my present, you're my future." Her eyes searched mine. "Say it again." "You're my future," I repeated, firmer this time. The weight lifted from her shoulders, replaced by a warmth I felt all the way through me. Later that night, we sat at the dining table. Candles flickered between us. She looked across the table with that quiet smile that still knocked the air from my lungs. "This feels like a victory," she said. "It is," I replied. "Not against her. Against the fear that tried to destroy us." "You're right," I said. "It was never about her in the end. It was about us." She raised her glass. "To us." I raised mine, my voice steady. "To us." We drank, and for a moment I thought, of all the nights I once lay awake, doubting, questioning, wondering if this love was worth the cost. Now the answer lived in front of me, alive, breathing, smiling with more light than any promise Claire ever made. Eliza set her glass down and leaned forward. "Tell me, if you had the chance to speak to her one last time, what would you say?" I didn't hesitate. I'd tell her she was wrong, that I did find better, better than what she offered, better than what she believed love was, better, in every way. Eliza's eyes softened, and that's the last word you'll ever need. Silence lingered, but it was the good kind, filled with peace instead of tension. She reached across the table, her hand resting on mine. "You still think about her?" she said quietly. "I think about the wound," I corrected, "but the wound only reminds me of the healing. And the healing is you." Her eyes glistened. As she whispered, "You know how to make me cry and laugh at the same time?" "Then I'm doing something right," I said. She laughed through her tears. "Yes, you are." The night stretched on, but I didn't need more hours or more proof. Everything I had once doubted, everything I once feared, was gone. What remained was love, raw and imperfect. but strong enough to carry us through any fire. As I watched Eliza smile across the table, I whispered to myself the words Claire could never believe. I did find better, and this time the storm outside no longer mattered.